Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris the High Guy Jacobs, and today we are taking a look at the final part 7 of our Armaments deep dive in Doomsday Last Survivor, where we finally take a look at pants. That's right, folks, we saved the pants for last simply because I like to walk around pantsless. Just kidding, but if you do, good on you. You must be confident about what you're packing. Anyways, let's take a quick look here. I'm going to collect some quick rewards here from those, but let's take a deep dive into those armaments. And again, we are taking a look at pants. Now, to start, we'll take a look at the epic pants, or the elite pants first, pardon me. Then we will take a look at the legendary pants, followed by the superb pants. Now, remember, guys, these all follow the same patterns. It's a very simple process, okay? All of the infantry pants and all of the rider pants and all of the ranged pants effectively do the same thing for their troops, okay? You'll see that in the attributes that we look at. So first and foremost, we've got survivor pants coming in with infantry squad lethality and infantry squad attack, one at 10 and one at 0.8% to start. Next, you've got stealth pants coming in with infantry squad lethality at 10 and squad counter damage coming in at 0.8% increase. Then you've got fine plated pants coming in with infantry squad lethality again at 10 and a squad attack of 0.7%. So let's take a look at what these are going to do individually. Survivor pants are going to help infantry squads only, so make sure that you are putting them on a leader of infantry squads only. The stealth pants will deal with infantry squad lethality as well as squad countering damage. So when you are in a fight directly, not running away, but when you are in a fight engaged in active combat, that will help mitigate some of that counter damage. And then lastly, fine plated pants providing infantry squad lethality and overall squad attack. So if you are more of an infantry leader, but you might put this on your garrison leaders, or you might put this on your rally leaders, depending on how you run your rallies. But this is going to be an overall squad attack buff. Now, remember, the squad attack buff is only 0.7% to start, while the infantry squad is a higher 0.8. What this means is that if you are hyper-focusing infantry, you are better to go with the survivor pants, especially if you're building only infantry troops. Okay? But that's kind of how those break down. These are going to benefit just infantry, so if you have more infantry troops, you have more of a benefit going here. If you've got a lot of mixed troops, you've got more of a benefit going onto the fine plated pants. Guess what, folks? The riders are going to be the exact same. You've got fluorescent pants providing rider squad lethality at 10 and rider squad attack at 0.8. Seems familiar to the survivor pants providing 10 and 0.8 to infantry. Then you've got jeans providing, again, that squad counter damage, again with the rider squad lethality. And then you've got fiber cycling pants giving you squad attack with that rider squad lethality. So guess what? The concept is exactly the same. If you have more rider troops and you are rider heavy and most of your troops, for example, or most of what you do with fighting is with riders, then obviously putting these on your leaders are better. If you engage in a lot more combat directly, not as much rallying and garrisoning, this one actually might do better for you as well in regards to that squad counter damage. Granted, you still kind of trigger it as well when you're rallying and garrisoning as well. So this is more directly when you're engaged in combat. And then your fiber cycling pants are, again, overall squad attack. So if you've got more of a wide range of troops, or you keep more of a balanced range of troops in your garrison, things like that, but you are still rider heavy, then obviously you'll go with those fiber cycling pants from there. Guess what, folks? Ranged is the same. You've got ranged squad lethality and ranged squad attack coming from your leggings. You've got ranged squad lethality and squad counter damage coming from your pocket pants. And you've got ranged squad lethality and squad attack, overall squad attack, coming from those tactical pants. So again, just like we're looking at the other ones, this will be the same. If you are mostly ranged, ideally you're going to be putting these on your ranged leaders. If you're mostly engaged in combat, you're going to go with that squad counter damage reduction, which in my opinion is a little bit better because ranged are weaker, so you want to kind of prevent as much damage going to them as possible, not just necessarily increasing their attack because they already do more damage. So you might be better off with the pocket pants. And then obviously if you've got a little bit of everything, you can go with those tactical pants from there. When looking at leaders, you got stylish suit pants providing squad lethality and squad attack if you're looking for a little bit of harder hit. Squad lethality and squad counter damage if you're looking for a little bit more tank while you're in fights. And then squad lethality and squad's basic attack damage increase if you want to go that route as well, if you find that your white numbers aren't near as much as you need. But the best part about leaders is that they're specifically honed to leading multiple troop types already. So that's why they have these overall. Squad lethality, for example, and squad attack instead of something specific. Okay? Now, again, that does mean that these values will be a little bit less because they are benefiting everything. Remember, squad lethality on the other ones, when it's focused, is 10, not 9. And it's 0.8%, not 0.7% for... oh, except for this one. I guess squad's basic attack damage is different, and same with the counter damage. But again, the process is the same. If you want to have a little bit of a punchier one, if you want a little bit more tank while you're fighting, or if you want a little bit harder on the white numbers. Okay? Now, last we've got for the overall heroes, you've got your work overalls providing squad lethality and damage dealt to zombies. Go ahead and dismantle these as soon as you get them. You've got miner pants providing squad lethality and oil gathering speed. Put these on your oil miners. And then you've got squad lethality and squad attack. Go ahead and dismantle these every time you get them as well. Okay, you can dismantle both the work overalls and the trendy cargo pants anytime that you get them. Take the free shards, get something that you want instead. But that is all for Elite Armaments, Elite Pants. Now let's take a look at Legendary Pants. So that we can take a look at what options you have. Again, remember, there's only 2 legendary options for each type, as the last one is locked behind the superb fragments, okay? However, let's take a look at these pants and know, again, understand, pardon me, again, that the pattern replicates, okay? The Survivor Pants in the Elites give you squad attack 10, and infantry squad attack 0.8. So effectively, we're looking at doubling it when we get to, like, close to doubling it when we get to the Elite Pants, or the Legendary Pants. Squad lethality and squad attack at 20 and 1.5%. And then you've got Stealth Pants providing squad lethality and squad counter damage, again, almost doubled from the other ones at 20 and 1.5%. So, if you want to hit a little bit harder, you're going to go with Survivor Pants. If you want to be a little bit tankier in a fight, you're going to go with Stealth Pants. If you're infantry, chances are you're going to go with Squad Counter Damage because you do want to be tankier in fights. That's what infantry does the best of, so you want to be a little bit tankier. But if you find that you're putting it on a Dut Miyamoto line, for example, which really just wants to get out and do damage, then you might want to go with the Survivor Pants instead. Next, we look at Riders. You got Fluorescent Pants bringing Rider Squad Lethality at 20 and Rider Squad Attack at 1.5%, which is almost double to the Elite ones. And then you've got Jeans bringing Rider Squad Lethality and Squad Counter Damage. So again, here's a prime example. Squad Lethality and Squad Attack if you want to hit a little harder. Squad Lethality and Squad Counter Damage if you want to be a little bit tankier. Riders can do good either way. Because they're kind of right in the middle. They already have that kind of balanced attack and defense. They're in that middle section where they deal about the same as what they take in regards to it. So that becomes personal preference. If you want to be a little bit tankier, you're going to go with Jeans. If you want to be a little bit harder, you're going to go with Fluorescent Pants, okay? With ranged, you've got Squad Lethality, Squad Attack coming out of leggings, and Squad Lethality, Squad Counter Damage coming out of pocket pants. Again, personal preference. I might go with the squad counter damage just to give them a little bit more sustainability because they're already hitting hard. So I might give them a little bit more sustainability to let them survive a little bit longer. But I can totally understand if you want to go with the leggings and just put out more damage anyways. Totally understand that's what range do. So bumping those numbers is actually a benefit as well. Next, we've got Stylish Suit Pants bringing Squad Lethality and Squad Attack. And then Ceremonial Pants bringing Squad Lethality and Squad Counter Damage. So, when you put this on Peter, or you put this on, any of your leaders, you could put this on Bianca, you could put it on Victor, you could put it on Master Jin. It's going to give you that lethality, squad attack, you name it. And then obviously ceremonial pants will make you a little bit tankier in battle fights. So if you have someone like, if you are putting this on someone like Jin or someone like Peter who wants to be involved in sieges, you might actually want to go with the squad counter damage to give them a little bit more survivability, or just go with the straight attack to make those hit a little bit harder. Totally personal preference from there. Now, when we look at the legendary ones here, guys, remember this is very much the same thing. Those work overalls, it doesn't really matter what they bring because they're going on overall gatherers, and nobody really cares about squad lethality and damage dealt, so go ahead and just dismantle these as soon as you get them, and then put these on your oil gathering heroes if you do get them as well. The minor pants, providing squad lethality and oil gathering speed. But that's it for the legendary pants fragments. Let's take a look quickly at the last superb pants fragments and give you an idea on what all of those last pants do. Now, we've gone through effectively this last 5 pants, pardon me, are the last 5 armaments to us to go through in the entire game. Now, don't get me wrong, they are adding new armaments, and we will go over new armaments when they add them. And there are 2 new armaments coming here in the next update, but we'll touch on those when they get dropped. Once they get dropped, we'll take a look at them and then obviously give you our opinion from there. So, fine plated pants. This is going to give you that 3 basic attributes. One being infantry squad lethality, one being infantry squad damage increase, and then squad attack. Now, here is where I have to say this is where these pants start to get really good, okay? Unfortunately, it also makes them really hard to get because they are those superb fragments. But having squad attack plus infantry squad damage, now that, remember when we were talking about bed mass, when you're dealing with a squad damage buff, when that calculation is done, ends up being more influential to have squad damage. Hence why it's only 0.8% versus a squad attack at 1.4, because they understand that it's more valuable. So having a bonus damage like that is great. Okay, so fine plated pants, having that, awesome. If you can focus them and get them, they're super good. Same with what we've got with our fiber cycling pants. These pants start to deal more damage, okay? Rider squad damage are going to be doing more, and same with that squad attack. Guess what, folks? It's the same with the rider pant or the range pants coming from tactical pants. You're getting range squad damage increase and squad attack. The royal leather pants, you're getting overall squad damage and squad attack with that squad lethality. So these are the definitely ones you want to put on your leaders, like your Master Jin or like your Peter or like, you know, whoever the best that you have in that leader category. And then obviously these ones here, trendy cargo pants, unfortunately, are just prime for dismantling. Okay. But if you can get your superb fragments, guys, always focus on them. They are much harder to get. You definitely have to push harder for them, but the equipments and the attributes you get out of them are far superior. So there is a reason why they're there. There is a reason why they're more harder and expensive to get and typically locked behind some kind of paywall. But there's also a reason for that. They really are that much better. But that, folks, is everything. That is every single armament throughout every single category. We've gone through and looked at devices. We've gone through and looked at headgear, weapons, backpacks, vests, shoes, and now pants. This means that if you have watched all 7 of those videos, you have gone through every single armament. You know exactly how to, or you know exactly which ones they are. And the only thing we have left to do now is take a look at what Honds. Because remember, Honds are important. Honds are absolutely important. And unfortunately, that's really what this all comes down to. So let's take a look at some pants here. Let's take a look at some Honds. And let's take a look at some of these honing attributes on what we want to focus on, okay? Now, remember, folks, any of these honed attributes, there are a couple key factors. On your elites, the highest honed attribute you'll ever get is an elite. Okay, you cannot get legendary Honds or red Honds on purple armaments. As well, you can only hone 2 of the same attribute per armament. So I could not turn this one here into another squad defense. There would not be another one. I would not come through, okay? But let's take a quick look at all of these attributes so we know kind of what we're looking at. You've got infantry, squad, attack, rider, ranged. Obviously, if we're going with infantry pants on the fine plated pants, you're going to be wanting to go either infantry squad attack, infantry specific troops, right? Ideally, you want to go into lethality or block. In my opinion, and kind of the common opinion of the community, because of how these calculations are done, they have more impact to your overall damage numbers with your infantry lethality and block. Obviously, the developers haven't gone into full detail on how those work, but from what we can gather so far, having those lethalities and blocks are good Honds to put on. As much as having good attack and defense is important too, the percentage that you're getting from a rider or an infantry squad attack versus infantry squad lethality, you end up doing more damage with a maxed infantry squad lethality than you do infantry squad attack. But again, don't forget, this also comes down to diminishing returns. The higher your values are, the lower the value that you get for adding new stats to it, right? So if you have 0 infantry squad lethality, adding 25 is a huge boost to your lethality compared to if you already have 500 and you add 25 more. Well, that percentage increases far less. So that still plays a percentage. That still plays a value here. However, typically putting lethality on block is a great idea. Okay. If you're putting rally or garrison, those are specific to only rallying or garrison. So if you're making those armaments, make sure you're putting those specifically on troops that you're not fighting in the field with, and only keeping garrisoning or using to rally, because that's the only time you will end up getting them. If you'll notice, having the overall squad attack, defense, and lethality is fine, but again, the percentages are different. Infantry squad lethality goes up to 25, where squad lethality by itself only goes up to 22. Okay? Don't worry about any of the oil gathering, speed, damage dealt to zombies, killed zombies, and things like that. When it comes to your fighting stuff, these ones you can typically hone onto your gathering armaments if that's what you're focusing on or going for. Obviously, squad travel speed if you'd like to add a little bit more of that movement speed and mobility. Remember, if you are putting travel speed on it, though, that you are taking away from either the damage that you can have or the defense that you can have. But that's, of course, that comes down to your personal play style and how you prefer to play personally. Okay? I just said personal play style 2 different ways and made it sound totally stupid in my own head. So thank you for that. But that's it, folks. That is it for everything. If you liked what you saw over this entire 7-part series, go ahead and smash that like button and share it with your friends. Anybody that you know that might have a problem with armaments, go ahead and share those, because at the end of the day, all that we can do is try to help everybody get better at the game, do better, fight harder, and grow stronger. And unfortunately, without many avenues or resources, for people to learn the game, the only choice that most of us have are YouTubers like myself, or That Panda Guy, or Armored, or, the plethora of other streamers, or the other content creators. So first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to all of them. Thank you so much for your hard work. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if it wasn't for you guys as well, because truth be told, most of you are kind of like my idols. I do this because of you. So thank you very much for opening up the community like that. That being said, guys, like the video, comment down below what your favorite armament is, or what you're really shooting for, what you're hyper focused on, or maybe what your opinions of armaments are. And other than that, subscribe to the channel, increase those numbers. We're pushing for 1,000 as hard as we can. It's been a great time so far. We've only been doing this since June, and the community has been incredibly supportive. So let's just keep that up, folks. I cannot believe we are punching close to 700 already and pushing our way to 1,000. If you do want to support the channel just a little bit more, go ahead and click the join button, become a member, and get any and all the bonuses that we have. Extra emotes, super chats when we go live, access to content first, members only content, all the kind of stuff that we plan to bring to it. And it's only $5.99 a month. And obviously anything that we generate goes back into the channel, creating better content. So if you want to help us out, go ahead and click that join button. If not, click the subscribe button, pass it all out to your friends. And that is it. Love, peace, chicken grease. And until next time, stay lifted.